good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today, I thought we'd come back with an Evolving Skies update. I went and had a good look, and I was like, right, are the Evolving Skies prices going up? Are they going down? Let's have a little bit of a look at exactly what is going on, whether they're jumping or crashing or whatever. And the answer is, we don't know. Now, we do know, all right? We do know for all the individual cards, don't get me wrong, but they are, shall we say, not always behaving exactly like we might imagine. So I think we need to have a little bit of a look at this because it's not completely clear. Now, if you ask me for a general trend, the general trend is up. But that is only half the story. Take the Moonbryon, for instance. And look, the Moonbryon was always going to get silly. This is the alternate art VMAX Umbreon. This was never going to end up being a cheap card. And now that the set is getting harder to find, and yes, I know it seems to turn up in every other product at the moment, but it is getting harder to find out there. This was always going to end up being the case. And if we have a look at this card, you can see that it did kind of crater around about October down to the giddy lows of $500. It's now a $700 card. The last two sales are $700. It's only going up from there. It is a card that is very much on the up. We could say a similar thing for Glaceon VMAX, for instance. We saw that again around about, end of October, beginning of November. It gets down as low as $135. It's now very much a $150 card. Now, admittedly, the numbers here are a little bit smaller. The differences are a little bit smaller. But over the past year, the graph is pretty clear. Kind of muddled around a bit, went down. But there is a very, very clear upwards trajectory here. And some of these cards absolutely are inarguably going upwards. We see this of a couple of the Vs as well. So the Umbreon V, for instance, very much on the up. In October, we get down as low as 80. It's now 110-ish. And to be fair, that's a 1/3 jump in the space of 6 months. Which is pretty significant, frankly. And look, this isn't the Umbreon V Max, let's be clear. But it's still an Umbreon. It's Umbreon V, but it's absolutely still an Umbreon. So we expect this to be going up and to be jumping in price. This shouldn't really surprise anyone. And we got a similar thing going on here with the Dragonite, although much less pronounced. This one really kind of peaked around about May at 115, 120, gets down as low as like 85, and it's crept back up to 105. Very, very much on the up. Now, not absolutely there, not jumping up to ridiculous prices, not pretending for a second that it is, but it is absolutely on the up, it is going up. So we can look at these and go, all right then, Wassy, that seems pretty conclusive, frankly. Seems like these cards as a whole are going up. You've just shown me 4 examples of high-level cards, and you're showing me an upwards trend. Yes. Yes, I am. But not across the board. So let's take something like Sylveon, for instance. Sylveon's the one that I pulled. And according to TCG Player, Sylveon is frankly all over the place. It's flicking between 125 and 145, seemingly at random. Back in May, it's a $140 card. By September, my birthday, it's down to 125, goes back up to 140, down to 130, up to 140, and now it's sitting at around about 135. There is an argument that you could make here, if you wanted to be a little bit loose with the graph, that this has basically been a $135 card for the past year. Now, it generally hasn't. It's been flicking between 125 and 145, but the average of that is 135, and it has been kind of going up and down and all around. There is an argument here that really this has been pretty safe on the price, just flicking with kind of like a $20 buffer. I'm going to leave that one up to you, how much you buy that, but That's where we're going with Sylveon. It is not seeing the same upward trend as the other ones we've seen. Very much not. But what about my old boy Leafeon? Now, Leafeon is my personal favourite here. This is the one with the Hyganosuke artwork. I adore this card. I think this card is absolutely wonderful. It is one of my favourite artworks out there. The Japanese print, absolutely out of my reach. The English print, I really need to start going for this sooner rather than later. I am going to run out of time. But I adore this Leafeon. It's one of the cards that made me fall in love with Hyganosuke as an artist. I think it's brilliant. And again, we see that in the past year, the price has been all over the place. It's been as high as like 175. It's been as low as 140. It's now sitting at around about 160. But what I find very interesting is since the end of November, beginning of December, we have seen a pretty clear downwards trend. This isn't a card which is really kind of jumping up and down and all around. This is a card which has been a general downwards trend. Now, only for the past 4 months, and we can't read too much into that, but it is on the way down, and we're seeing this with a couple of cards. Sylveon has been going up and down. Leafeon is on the way down at the moment. Now, I think when we look at cards like Glaceon and Umbreon, I could absolutely be wrong here. But I look at those and I'm like, oh, yeah, they've hit their low. Now, there's absolutely no guarantee of this. Cards fluctuate. Different things can affect the price. This is not a guarantee. This is a prediction and nothing more. But they really do kind of seem like cards where they've hit the floor and they're now starting to go back up again, and I'm not sure we're going to see them drop low ever again. Could be wrong. That seems to be where we are. But then there's other cards like your Sylveon, like your Leafeon, where it's really not as clear, where there is an argument that they've gotten as low as they're getting, and they're not coming back. But there's another argument that, look, well, they've been kind of going up and down a little bit. Maybe they could come back down again. I mean, take Rayquaza V Max as an example. Not an evolution, but still one of the best, most sought after, most hyped cards from this set. And what do we see over the past year? A general trend downwards. When I say general trend downwards, I don't mean all down all the time. I mean a general trend downwards. Yes, I am fully aware that if you only look at the past 2 weeks, there has been a small jump. But if you look at the past year, there is a super clear downwards trend going on. Nice and simple. We essentially start off with like a $300 card in April, and now we're sitting at about a $270. Or are we? Because here's the thing. If we look at a TCG player graph and we look at the market price, then it seems like we've seen a pretty general downwards trend. But if we look at the last couple of weeks, we see a bit of a jump and we're like, well, it's just the past couple of weeks, let's calm down a bit. But then we see the last couple sales and they're actually $290 and $350 and $260 for a lightly played card. And then we go, oh, well, hang on a second. If we've seen that little bit of a jump, but actually the last couple sales are significantly higher than that little bit of a jump, well, then we look and we go, oh, yeah, maybe this actually is going back up again. And this is the confusion of Evolving Skies. We have got prices going up and down all over the place. Some of them are very much going up. Some of them seem to be coming down. And some of the ones that seem to be coming down are actually coming down. And some of the ones that seem to be coming down are actually now going back up again. And Evolving Skies can't make up its mind. With the high-end cards, it can most of the time. And certainly that Moonbreon is not on the way down anytime soon. That is still going up. But it is not that clear. Like Rayquaza V seems to be on the way down from 95 down to a floor of 70. It's gone back up to 75, but a general downwards trend. But then the last couple of souls, there's a 75 and a couple of 80s. So it is creeping back up, still lower than it was a year ago. But how high is this creeping up going to go? How much can we trust it? And I don't think we got a conclusion on Evolving Skies yet. Maybe it's because it keeps popping up in products and it is more available than we may have guessed it was going to be. Maybe it's because there's more people buying and selling this than an average set because of the hype, and that is making the prices fluctuate a little bit more than normal. Not entirely sure. What I can tell you is we have got prices that look to be crashing, prices that are 100% spiking, and this is all very, very interesting to me, but I do not think we've got our answer yet. What I can tell you is that Golurk is a $12 card, maybe a little bit less sometimes, and that might be one of the best that is one of the best artworks in the set. So at least that card is cheap for the time being. For now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to know what you think about this. I want to know which cards you picked up from Evolving Skies. I want to know which cards you've put down. I want to know which cards you bought, which cards you've sold. I want to know anything you want to tell me. So let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, join a Discord, and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely Tamberlin, who's been a supporter of ours for a while now and is a very lovely person. So shout out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.